Let's face it, being creative can be a real drain sometimes. If you're anything like me, sometimes you just have creative burnout, and the ideas just don't seem to come as easily as they were maybe last time you were on generating something. That's where Leonardo AI's flow state has really come in and helped eliminate that creative burnout. It gives you so many options without you having to really think about what your prompt needs to be or how intricate and detailed it needs to be. You can change the lighting, the style, the colors, even the vibe. And you guys know I'm all about vibes when it comes to projects. I went ahead and I did a creative project with some simple prompts. Using what we typically use in Leonardo with our enchantresses, I prompted for a blonde enchantress and her AI counterpart on an adventure in a dreamland. And I managed to come up with all of these images that are in this creative project. Let's watch it together, and then afterwards, I'll break everything you need to know down about Leonardo AI flow state.
Of code and hands unite, fingers trace what circuits feel. We blur the lines between what's real. Faint whispers through the static hum, melodies where futures come together, weaving words unseen. A dreamer's touch, a machine's dream. Let's drift in this frequency, endless possibilities. You and I, redefine boundaries, fading over time. We're echoes of creation, infinite vibrations of flow so divine. Where we intertwine, painting stars across the sky. Connection, a limitless direction. In this space we bloom, underneath the glowing moon. From the ether, art is born. In your hands, a light is worn. Fractals build with every sound, an endless cycle spinning round, guided by a breath unseen. What's imagined now serene? Through your heart I feel alive. Together boundless we survive. No borders, no time, just rhythm, just right. We're weaving the
Let's go ahead and use what I did to create those images. And I'm just going to put simply a beautiful blonde enchantress and her AI humanoid counterpart, dreamlike setting. And I'm going to go ahead and change my size over here. I would like these to be 16:9. And we're going to take a look at all of these different styles here in just a minute and how they impact what's being created. But for now, everything is just going to stay on automatic. And I'm going to go ahead and hit generate. And you can see then that when I generate, my image or my screen is going to fill with all the different images that fit that prompt but have very different styles. So as I scroll through here, you can see that more pop up as I'm scrolling. It will continue to do that in that manner until I choose one that I like and I want to flow off of. So for example, let's just look up here. And I kind of like the vibe of this one with the AI head rotating here. So if we scroll over the photo, you're going to see a couple different options. This is very important. So be sure you pay attention. If you see an image that you like on your board, be sure you hit the little floppy disk looking save button so that you don't lose it. You want to go ahead and save that to your library. That is different than the download button here. By hitting that saved button, you'll actually have this image added into your library, because if I go off of this screen, I'm going to lose all of these other generations. So even if there's a couple that I like from here, as I'm scrolling, I'll go ahead and save them to the library. So like this one might be helpful in the future for me. This one could be helpful in the future for me. This one I think might be helpful, so I'm going to go ahead and save that. So you can see that I'll still go through and check them out to the stopping point where, eventually when it does cost tokens to do, you won't want to just waste tokens endlessly scrolling, but you want to make sure that you're getting the material that you may be able to use in the future from these as well. Right now, it's not costing any tokens. Leonardo was nice enough to give everybody a little time to play with this new feature without it costing the tokens. But when it does start taking credits, it will be 1 token for each image. So you can see here that just on this screen would be 16 tokens worth of images. So if you think about that on, like the Phoenix model or the Vision model, you're looking at 15 to 20 tokens depending on what all you put on for each image that you're producing. So when it comes to ideating or trying to get different styles and, you're just in that like creative funk of I'm just not hitting it on my actual prompting, you can come in here and you can grab some different styles that'll kind of reignite that spark of creation in you. So back to what I was saying about this one, as we scroll over the image, you're going to see you've got these 3 option things over here. These are all coming soon tools that we'll be able to use with these images. But for right now, there's nothing that we can do in there. You've got your upscale here where you could go ahead and use the Ultra Upscaler to upscale your image if you want directly from there. And then if you scroll over this more like this is where these styles right here come into play. So as I scroll over, I can see that it says that this image was made using the lighting setting of film haze, the shot type of cinematic. So if I scroll over to this one, for example, and I check it out, I'll see shot type spiritual, color theme, deep teal. So it does a lot of different variations on each of these. That will help you to be able to produce that content further if you want that to be the actual look of your project. So you'll notice that back in the project that I just showed you guys, there were quite a few different styles. Well, what I did is I ran this prompt over and over and over again and picked up all of the different styles that I thought were really interesting to show you. I'll tell you some of my favorite combinations here in just a bit after we talk a little bit more about how this works. So let's say I like this image. I'm ready to flow from this vibe into a couple different images to put onto the story that I'm working on. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this more like this. And watch, you can see then that it goes from our original one into the flow state here, where it produces a whole new set of images that I can scroll through that will keep producing in that same style. So let's say, for instance, I really like this one. I'll save this one. I could see myself using this in the future for sure on this one. A couple different, even if it's not necessarily the project you're working on right at that second, I still highly recommend saving the ones that you actually like. If you're spending the 1 token to create it anyway, if it's possibly usable in the future, I say keep it. That's where your prompt and image organization really comes in handy on a tool like Notion or Airtable. You guys have seen me use both of them, so highly recommend. If you're not already organizing your digital art, you start. I like this one. And you can see as I scroll, there's just going to be more and more that are created that way. Now, let's say I want to switch it up a little bit and I still want to use the same prompt, but I want to decide which styles I'm using over here. The first setting here is vibe. This is the way that the image is going to come out. So you can see they've given us examples here of adorable little cats that we can check out what it's going to look like when you do those things. So as we're building on here, keep in mind what we're choosing. So just for fun, let's check out the sci-fi here. And then lighting, we'll do, I don't know, I kind of like this mystical. We'll try that. And then shot type, this is the way that the camera is actually taking the image. So you can see there's a lot of different options here. For this one, let's go with spiritual just to see how that comes out since we're already doing mystical and sci-fi. And then for the color theme, this is where you can choose like the actual color tone of the image. So let's go ahead and let's do gradient for this one. And you can see now I've set the actual styles for all of these. So when I generate, all of the images in this flow state are going to be made on these settings. So there you go. You can see the mystical, spiritual, sci-fi, gradient vibe here on the different images. I'm not sure why it just put the random word in there, but I could easily erase that. You can see a lot. Now there are quite a few that are, messed up generations. Like there's not even a AI in this one. Sometimes you get, some messed up images, but for 1 token a piece to have this creative flow state help you when you're just feeling really blocked up on creativity is going to be a very useful tool in the future. So now let's change the size here. Let's turn the prompt enhance off. And let's say I want to do a logo. You can see that you can choose just one vibe at a time, and it will produce the image in lots of different ways that could work as a logo for what we're working on here.
In the silence, a spark ignites. Threads of code and hands unite. Fingers trace what circuits feel. We blur the lines between what's real. Faint whispers through.
And it will just keep generating as I scroll. Okay, so let me show you a couple of my favorite variations here. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to use one of the prompts that they have already up here, the serene forest with giant mushrooms and tiny magical creatures. And all I have to do is hit use prompt and you'll see that that pops right up here. Let's change the size of these. Let's do 1:1 on these. I really like the light art with the vibrant. And you'll notice that I'm going to leave the vibe on automatic and the shot type on automatic because I don't have anything in particular in mind that I need those settings on. So let's go ahead and hit generate. And you can see here that that produces some pretty cool images. The next combination I'm really feeling is lighting luminous and a shot type spiritual. And there you go. We can see some pretty intricate, detailed images coming out with both of those. Kind of has like that trippy feel to it, but a lot of color still and vibrancy in the images. And remember, if you like it, save it. The next one is lighting, lens flare, and vibrant. Like there we go. I freaking love that one. I can work with that and make a really cool image in the end. Now remember, these aren't necessarily ready to go right out the gate. So this would be a great time for us to talk about the token cost here. So while this one did cost me 1 token to generate, you can see that because it generated 12 images or 16 images to start, that costs 12 or 16 tokens when the token cost actually starts coming through. But I wouldn't want to post an image like this. It's a little blurry. The lines aren't as sharp as I would like them. There's not as much fine detail as what I would typically like in something that I would actually post or use somewhere. So I'm going to have to upscale this image for it to be up to a quality where I would want to use it. So if we consider the token cost for that, let me go ahead and grab this prompt so that we can compare it here. But if I upscale this image, you can see it's going to cost me 17 tokens to upscale it. So if we do that, we're now up to 18 tokens for when this actually comes into play. And you can see that because I left those on automatic for the vibe and the shot type, when I come in here, it tells me all 4 of what was used to create this image. So if I like this combination, again, this is where it would be useful to have somewhere that you're keeping your images, that you're marking the tags on the images for what you're using. Something like Airtable is a great tool for that. Let's see, it should be done by now. Okay, so here we go. There's the ultra upscale version. So if we toggle back and forth between the original here, you can see some of that dullness, the less precise on the lines. And then if we come to the ultra upscaler, you can really see that luminous glow being pulled out. If I want to go ahead and download that, I can hit the download button. But remember, that cost me 18 tokens. So now if I go back into the regular Leonardo classic creations here, and I hit classic mode, I'll put that same prompt in. And on Flux Precision, you can see that that's going to cost 10 tokens to generate. That's a great deal. I'm so excited that they've added Flux, because if you're on Grok, you know that recently Black Forest is no longer who Grok is using for the image generation. Now the Grok has their own model, and Grok is really doing some coming up right now to be more competitive in the image generation scene. But while it's working on that, it'll be great to be able to use Flux through Leonardo here. I mean, that's a good image there. So let's go ahead and create it. It's going to cost me 10 tokens to create this versus the other image we just took a look at upscaled that was the 18 tokens. So here we go. That's pretty cool. I mean, it does have a lot of precision and realism to it there. Even the spores on the mushrooms. For 10 tokens, that's not bad. But let's go ahead and go back to our foundational model here, because I think that might be a little bit more comparable. And I'm going to change my preset to creative. If you have any questions on all of that, be sure you check out that playlist in the description of this video for more of our Leonardo tutorials. But let's go ahead and come in. We'll make sure that's on auto, and we can see under Phoenix right now, I'm going to hit quality, and it's going to cost me 15 tokens to generate this image here. So for 15 tokens, I'll be honest, I think I like this one better than the one that was created in Flow State, but it had a little bit more creativity to the one in Flow State. So if we come back, we'll go to my library here, and we can see them next to each other. So very different looks. This would be great for if I was using it in a storybook setting or somewhere that I needed like something on a t-shirt even. This could be a good design. Whereas this might be something that would be better in one of my animated social shorts. So it's good to know what project you're working on, but sometimes if you're in a creative block, it's nice to just be able to come in, and we just created all of this together using Flow State without me really having to get deep into prompting or really think out what settings I wanted, where I wanted to have it for the presets and all of that kind of stuff. So Flow State has been really helpful for getting those creative juices flowing. It's like if we come in and we go back to that one that I liked here, we'll take it back to the original. I'm just going to go ahead and download it. And if I take that into the universal upscaler and I go back to the old legacy model, you can see it's going to cost me 30 tokens to upscale it there. So if I didn't do the ultra upscaler that was the 17 tokens, this would be my second alternative option. But you can see that once this one is done, I'm going to have spent 31 tokens on this image versus the 15 I spent in the Phoenix, the 10 I spent in the Flux, and the 18 I spent going from the flow state into the Ultra Upscaler. So a lot of what you're generating depends on what you're using it for, how good you really need it to be in the resolution, and what plan you're on and how many credits you get. So this might not be worth doing on the free plan, if you don't have a whole lot of credits, or one of the lower tier plans. But as we come in, you can see with this slider bar here, just look at how much detail is really improved in this legacy upscaler. You can see, look at the little mushroom in the back and the creature. Just from the original there into the much more lifelike creature. The detail in the flowers at the base of the big mushroom. All in all, to me, that's worth 31 tokens for that image versus just putting out the original image from Flow State. But totally up to you and your creative vision and what you have allotted for that creation as far as the token cost. These are all just my opinions as a creator who's using these systems to do work. So Leonardo is not paying me. It's just a creator bringing you guys what I think about it and how I'm using it. But if you do want to sign up for a plan on Leonardo, I do have an affiliate link in the description of this video. So by using that, you're actually helping to support me and the channel with our growth. So if you use that link, thank you very much. If it's your first time here on the channel, this is what we do. We share tips and tricks and tutorials for content creation using generative AI. We share some AI updates, all kinds of stuff on here. We dove into the AI world and absolutely loved it, and we just made it our mission to bring it to you guys. We do love building community though, so if you create a really cool image or a really cool video or something that you just want to share with our community, be sure that you find us on your favorite social media platforms. We would love to connect and interact with you. We share a lot more of our art and projects over on platforms like X, so if you want to go join us over there, we'd love to have you. And if we get enough of you guys over there, we'll be able to do spaces and stuff like that where we can work together on some of these projects. Wouldn't that be fun? All right, well, for now, I gotta head out and see how well Flux is working here in this system. So if you want to see some of those images that I'm gonna go ahead and start generating in there, be sure you head over and check out X. Thanks for spending some time with me today. I'm Jessica with the Real AI Agents, and as always, keep looking towards the future.